Hey there, Jim here from OUTAPocket. Today we have a job to do because winter has hit the northeast and we have not yet winterized the pocket. It's currently about 25 degrees. We're going to try to get this done fast. Cindy's going to man the camera. She has her Expedition parka on. Try to stay warm while we get the job done. Now when you go to winterize the pocket, there's really two methods that I've seen used. One is to feed the system with antifreeze, and to do it that way. The other one is to blow it out with air. Now when we bought this vehicle, it was in January, the dealer winterized it for us. They did the antifreeze method. Now the only issue with that is, to be honest, it seems kind of complicated. And second, I was kind of wondering all summer, like, did we drain it all? How much antifreeze was still in there? Were we drinking any of it? So I'm not going to do that method. I'd like to do the second method, which is the air blowout method, which uses pressurized air to try to force all the water out of the system. I haven't done this before. My friend who has a Solis Pocket 36A swears by it. He says it works great, so that's what we're going to tackle today. Even though we park our Pocket in the garage, I want to have it winterized so that if I go away for a few days, park outside, if it's freezing cold, I don't have to worry about any freezing in the van. I don't have to let the heat run the whole time. So in order to winterize the Pocket with the air system, you're going to have first a bucket. And the reason you'll need this is because when you drain the fresh water, I learned this when we drained the antifreeze last time, it just comes out a little tube near the passenger rear tire. It doesn't drain out the gray water system. I guess that was too much to ask to have it all connected to the drain. But it doesn't, just dumps on the ground. So I don't want water filling my garage, so I need a bucket. I might have to empty it multiple times. We'll see. You also have to have a blowout valve. I've seen these with like a bicycle pump end. This one fits on more of a compressor style end. You also of course need a compressor or a way to get compressed air. It has to be adjustable. You're not supposed to go over 30 psi. When you do this procedure, you ramp up to 30, so you need a compressor and you need one of these to connect into the system. So got the procedure mapped out. There were some questions in the book that I don't fully understand. We're going to solve those when we walk through it today. So let's get started. Oh, and one more thing. There appears to be a critical step missing in the book. I figured it out. I know what it is. It's going to be right near the end. So hang in there, because if you're going to do this, you definitely don't want to miss this last step. The first step in this procedure is to drain the fresh water from the system, which is different from draining the gray water. There are 3 freshwater drain valves. One here, and one behind this panel, right down there. So we're going to open those. Before we open those, we want to make sure the pump is off, which it is, and that there's a bucket underneath the drain pipe. So let me put that bucket there before we turn these on. I'm going to open the valves one by one. It doesn't really talk about any order, so I'm just going to work from the bottom up. Start with this one. Don't hear anything. There we go. Heard a little something. Oh, there it is. It's coming. And it's kind of missing. Let me line up the bucket. So this one's open. Didn't seem to do much. Don't know why. This one's open. This must be the major one. So I'm going to watch it so I don't overflow the bucket. Not getting anything. Why not? Oh. So I know there's some water in there, not a lot, but it's got to be a gallon or more, because you can check with that light meter. Yeah, I'm sure you've used that before. But we opened everything up, it's not really draining. I'm not sure why. Hit the pump for a minute. That definitely forced some water out. I'm going to try opening the other fill cap. Maybe it's like a vacuum suction thing and there's no way for air to get in. So I'll try that next. Nothing. Nothing. Why isn't the water draining? Well, the water's not really draining, so I'm just going to run the pump a little bit. It didn't really talk about that, but here it comes. And then you turn the pump off and it stops.
Is the pump in the directions?
No, It didn't say to turn on the pump, but the water doesn't come out. So just to make sure I'm not crazy, I did run in and check the manual. It does not say to run the pump. I did open the faucet in the sink. A little water came out, but it seems like the only way the water's coming out is if I run the pump. Maybe the air pressure? I can't believe the air pressure would force all that amount of water out, a full tank of water. That seems unreasonable. So I'm going to run the pump and we're going to drain it this way until no more water comes out. Before I hook up the air, there's one more step, and that's to empty this pump strainer. So let me do that now. I suspect some water is going to pop out, so I got this little cup to try to catch it. We'll see. Don't know how well it's going to work. Just to rotate it. There we go. Okay. There we go. Because otherwise that can freeze. Okay. We ran the pump until all we could hear was gurgling and it seemed like most of the water was out. I don't register any water on the tank meter anymore. So I've turned the pump back off. The next step is to connect this, but there was a little footnote in the manual to press the little button on this thing. So behind this little gasket, you can see that. Looks like a little button. Oh, I can press it with my phone. Oh, see, there's a little water in this tube, I guess. Sure that drains. I don't know why they make you do that. Seems like the air pressure would get it out, but it did it anyway. So now we'll hook this up. Alright, now the sink's closed, water valves are open, water pump is off. Let's hook up the air. Okay. Alright, I'm going to go turn the compressor on and gently ramp it up to 30, which is the maximum. Hopefully it'll be forcing stuff out. So the air compressor's hooked up, I cranked it up. It's only getting to like 20 psi because I think the air is just going in and coming out the drain valve. I guess that's what's supposed to happen, but now that there is some pressure in there, the next step is to empty this part of the system. So that's this auxiliary wash connector. Get that plugged in. I got a couple little drips. That was it. So I guess we're done with that one. Now we'll go get the kitchen sink. So that's a good sign. Let's let that run through. That's done. I turn the pressure off. We're going to disconnect this. Okay. Take our adapter off. So I think that's the drain procedure. Close all drain valves. Close that. Close that. Close that. Now, the most critical thing that isn't in the book, we're going to do inside. This is the critical step that's not in the book. And I actually can't believe it's not in the book, because this is basic winterizing, you know, from if you have a summer place or any those with your family over the years, which is where I learned it. But this trap is full of water. We can't leave it that way because the trap will freeze. So I've heard about some people pulling the water out of the trap, but this is all going to the gray water system from here, so I don't mind using a little antifreeze in this trap to make sure that won't freeze in the winter. I'm pouring it in there now. I'm sure that's plenty. And do that before the last step, which is emptying the gray water. The last step is empty the gray water. There shouldn't really be much, maybe a little antifreeze, maybe there's a little left over. Now I've made a modification, an upgrade to this van to put in a different type of cap here. Usually you have that huge slinky hose made for sewage and all that, and sometimes it's really hard to get this big cap off. So they make this aftermarket cap that you can put on here. You don't have to take it on and off. Then you can just use a little hose to drain. In this case, it's very convenient to let that come out of the garage. So here's the gray water drain valve. We're going to do it. This is the first time I've used this system. See what we got. Draining. There it is. There's the antifreeze we just poured in. So the good sign is the trap's full. And I didn't have any other gray water because we'd emptied it a little while ago. So. But this is much more convenient than that huge slinky hose thing. So I recommend doing this. So that's a wrap. I think we have this thing winterized. If you've done this process and we missed anything or have any comments, please jump in. It's really great to have all the activity when you guys comment, have other opinions or other information. That's great. If you're enjoying these videos, please like and subscribe. We really appreciate it.
Oh, one other thing.
Yeah. Oh, hey, frozen one.
Hey, don't do this when it snows. Do it when it's still warm outside.
Next time we're targeting
It's a
November.
lot better.
Yeah. Next time.
Okay.
Next time. Yeah. It's about 24 right now. All right, let's go to the wood stove. We're done. Till next time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you then.